Well, hey guys, so today's video is going to be some sunscreens that I have finished up that I want to share with you guys. But I recently published a video on, what am I, an author? I recently put out a video on my skincare empties that was non-sunscreen related. So if you want to see all of the stuff that I used up over the past several months, I'll link that down below. But I have quite a few sunscreens here that I've made my way through, which I think are really good, and some had their issues, we'll say. But honestly, in comparison to other sunscreen empties videos, I have to say I really don't have that many. And I think a big reason is that I have a lot of SIPs, sunscreen in progress, in this box. So I thought I might share with you some sunscreens that I'm currently using right now. Yeah, I have a lot of sunscreens in progress, and every day I kind of use a different one or reapply with a different one. So I'll kind of share with you some of what I'm currently using a lot of and loving. But first sunscreen empty I have here is the Differin Moisturizer SPF 30 oil absorbing moisturizer with sunscreen. This is a chemical sunscreen that has avobenzone in it, which will block UVA1 and UVA2, and it also has some filters for UVB, the rays that burn. And I have to say, this is a really nice moisturizer for everyday use for people who have really oily skin. It has aluminum starch in it, which will help absorb some excess greasiness and shine. And the formulation overall, considering it's a sunscreen, the formulation overall is actually decent as a moisturizer as well. It has glycerin in it, which is a humectant. It has silicone in it to prevent transepidermal water loss. Also has licorice root extract in it, which will give a little bit of a brightening effect to it. And I find it doesn't pill or ball or anything, and it doesn't sting around the eyes either. It wouldn't be a sunscreen empties video without these bad boys, the Dermatology tinted sunscreens, or I often use their non-tinted one, but these past few months I've been using the tinted oil-free moisturizer, SPF 46 universal tint. This I love. It has an odd smell, kind of like a pool float, but once you get over that, it doesn't last, by the way. These are great. Yeah, it's zinc oxide for UVB and UVA1 and UVA2, and it also has octinoxate for UVB. I really like the way these look on my skin. They have a kind of a shiny, glowy dew effect without being greasy, and they're not irritating. They're very sensitive, skin friendly. They have niacinamide in them, which can help with redness and irritation. Give them a try. I'm not affiliated with Dermatology, but they typically have like a 20% coupon on their site. So I recommend trying the universal tint out. It's really good, and it works well for a variety of skin tones as well. If you're a medium to deeper skin tone, give it a try. A lot of people comment that they have a deeper skin tone and that it works really well for them. I don't wear makeup, but a lot of people say that it works well under makeup, and I can see that. It doesn't pill or ball or anything. Okay, I finished up the La Roche-Posay Anthelos Anti-Shine XL. This is in the European market, I believe. You can't get this in the States because it's got filters in it that aren't approved here. It has Mexeril in it, Mexeril XX. It has Mexeril XL and Mexeril SX, which will block UVA1, UVA2, and UVB. The combination of those two are really good. It also has, I write down these filters. Yeah, I write down all the filters before I start filming, so I remember who has what. It has Juvenile T150, which will block against UVB. It also has avobenzone, which will block UVA1 and UVA2. And it has tinasorb in it as well, which will block UVB, UVA1, and UVA2. Homosalate, octocrylene, and octisalicylate will block, each of those will block UVB. So those are the filters. It also has aluminum starch in it, I believe, and silica, which kind of help with the oil absorbing. This is super matte. I actually don't enjoy using this personally, but if you have a really oily skin and you want a matte finish sunscreen, definitely try this if you can get your hands on it. I actually saw that you can get it on Walmart here in the States, so if you're interested in trying it, you could try getting it there. a viewer sent this to me, so that's how I acquired it. So I can't comment on the reliability of buying it anywhere else. I didn't buy it, somebody sent it to me. But yeah, for those of you like throughout Europe, I'm not sure which countries in Europe you can get this, but definitely give it a try if you have an oily skin type. And this does not burn around the eyes, but if it gets in the eyes, it stings a lot. That being said, it's water resistant, so it doesn't run easily, but if you happen to get a little bit like in your eyes, it does kind of burn your eyes, but otherwise it's great. And it doesn't like sting when you apply it. So I really like it, but it is just a bit too matte for me. A sunscreen in the European market that I really enjoyed is the Bioderma anti-redness SPF 50 plus. Yeah. This has Tinted M, which will cover UVA1, UVA2, and UVB. It also goes by the name Biscotrizol. It has Bimotrizonol or Tinted S, which likewise will cover UVA1, UVA2, and UVB. It has avobenzone, which will cover UVA1 and 2, and it has octocrylene for UVB. But the anti-redness aspect of this is that it has licorice root extract in it, which can calm down redness. And it also has iron oxides in it, which will block against propigmenting wavelengths of visible light. This is a really good sunscreen for people who have rosacea. If you have a pale skin tone and you're seeking a tinted sunscreen, try this. The tint is not going to go over well for deeper skin tones, I wouldn't imagine. When I put it on, it's like barely, it almost looks like I just have a regular non-tinted sunscreen on. So it's not a very deep tint, but the iron oxides can protect against those propigmenting wavelengths of visible light that do contribute to hyperpigmentation, which tends to plague deeper skin tones. But that being said, the shade I don't think you will care for. But one that I would recommend instead that I love is the MDSolarSciences SPF 30. Now this is a tinted sunscreen that I finished up a while ago, towards the beginning of the social distancing and whatnot. This is a mineral sunscreen, so it has zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. The combination together give very nice coverage against UVB, UVA1, and UVA2. This is a deeper tint. The tint will again protect you against the propigmenting wavelengths of visible light, but this goes over better if you have a darker skin tone, is what I'm getting at. Now this formulation is really smoothing and blurring. It has silicones in it, which are a lightweight synthetic oil. This is water resistant and it's very heavy on the silicone, so if you don't care for that, you're not going to like this, but I personally love that. Silicones are just synthetic lightweight oils that are present in oil-free products. They're very acne friendly, and they give a nice blurring effect. That being said, I can't imagine that this would work particularly well as a base for makeup, because it is, once you put it on the skin, it doesn't feel like it ever dries fully. It always feels like, you have butter on your skin. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's just me. It never really feels like it dries fully. It doesn't rub off on stuff, like obviously rub off on stuff, clothing and whatnot, so it must dry down and it must obviously form the film, but it just, you can feel it on your skin when you touch your face or whatnot. I can't imagine makeup would go over well on top of this. Comment below though, those of you who wear makeup. So yeah, love that. It has quite a blurring, smoothing effect if you're looking for that. And then I finished up two Verdio sunscreens. I get these on Yes Style. I love these. The UV Moisture Gel and the Moisture Essence. These are amazing. If you have oily skin, they're really easy to apply, especially in sweaty conditions. So one issue with a lot of sunscreens is they're heavy. They form that heavy film. They can block evaporation of sweat, make you feel sweatier, and make you look greasier. These don't do that. They're breathable, lightweight, they absorb very quickly, and they have wonderful filters in them to protect your skin against both UVB and UVA1 and UVA2. The gel has Uvinol A+, which will block against UVA1 and UVA2. It also has Tinted S, which will do UVB, UVA1, and UVA2. It has Uvinol T150, which will block UVB, and it has octinoxate for UVB, and it also has titanium dioxide for UVB and some UVA. Now, the essence is a slightly thicker formulation in comparison to the gel. It has a different constitution of filters, but the same level of protection. It has Tinted S, which will give you UVB, UVA1, and UVA2. It has Uvinol A+ for UVA1 and UVA2, and it has octinoxate and octocrylene, both of which will block UVB. So basically the difference between these two is really kind of just in the consistency. The essence is a little bit thicker and the gel is a little bit more lightweight, but to me, I mean, if you blindfolded me, I could not tell the difference, honestly. Beyond the great protection that these afford, they have Job's tears in them, which are like a type of barley, I believe. Job's tears, yes, barley. Job's tear extracts are supposedly rich in B vitamins like niacinamide that can calm down redness, have an anti-inflammatory effect. It also has Scutellaria, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Scutellaria is a plant. There are some laboratory-based studies showing that extracts of this plant possibly could help have a skin brightening effect, but that data is restricted to just some small laboratory-based studies. That is in there, and then it also has moringa extract, which is rich in antioxidants and soothing anti-inflammatory compounds and is not irritating or sensitizing, or shouldn't be. To me, these don't leave a cast, but they are water resistant, and the film that they form kind of, you know, if you side light it, it has this sort of shiny, filmy look to it. A lot of people don't care for that, but I love these. And like I said, I think these are really good for people with oily skin that don't necessarily want something super matte like the Anthelos XL. This is like really uber matte, but they don't want something that's going to be like dewy. They just kind of want a flat look. I don't know. Somewhere in between. These are good. And they're really nice if you live somewhere that's humid and you're sweating a lot. They're easier to apply than, like, say for example, this product, the Mineral Tinted Cream. This is not as comfortable to apply in humidity because it's like putting a film on the skin from the get-go, and it kind of holds that sweat there on the skin, and that can just feel unbearable in the summertime. But otherwise, that one's fantastic. And then I finished up one of my Colorescience 3-in-1 Total Eye SPF 35. Love this product, and am going to definitely go back to using it. I've been trying to make my way through the Supergoop eye product. I can't remember what that thing is called. I don't like it. It pills and balls, but I'm trying to finish it up because it was expensive. And as soon as I do, I'm gonna have another one of these, and I'm gonna go back. I really love this. Yes, it's expensive. No, it's not necessary. In order to protect the skin around your eyes, just use regular sunscreen. If regular sunscreens burn or sting too much, then choose a mineral-only baby sunscreen to put around your eyes. Those tend to be easier to tolerate around the eyes. So yeah, that is everything that I finished up, you guys. Like I said, it's not a lot, but I have been using a lot of other sunscreens that are in progress. Specifically, I'm really loving the La Roche-Posay Anthelos SPF 60 Melt-In Sunscreen Milk. This chemical sunscreen is amazing. Doesn't burn around my eyes. It's not greasy, and I've really been liking this. Check out my video reviewing the La Roche-Posay sunscreens, but I definitely wanted to give a shout out to this. It's wonderful. It doesn't pill or ball or anything like that. So yeah, if you guys are looking for a sunscreen, I got this at Costco. So those of you who are Costco shoppers, look there. You get this one, and then you get a little, a smaller bottle of their, I forget what it's called. It's a product for people with oily skin. That's a sunscreen that's fragrance free and has a really matte finish to it. But this by itself is great. It's great. I recommend this to people who have acne a lot. It's very acne friendly. I've also been using the Supergoop Glow Screen a lot lately. I'm not wearing it right now. Yeah, I've really been liking this. Actually, it gives us, it's a tinted shimmery sunscreen. It's very, very matte in my experience. I find it can be a little too drying, especially around the eyes. I find it a touch irritating there, but I do like the way that it looks. And if you're someone who is trying to get away from wearing makeup, especially in the summer, I know a lot of people abandon makeup. So I'll get on board with that and support that. And consider this, it kind of, you know, if you're somebody who typically likes to use bronzers and whatnot, you might like this. I happen to think it looks very flattering on the skin. The product itself, though, is not like standout amazing in terms of what it's offering for UV protection. I mean, SPF 40 is great. It's a chemical sunscreen, so there's no cast. But I mean, you can find that at the drugstore. So this isn't like particularly novel in terms of its UV blocking abilities, but it looks pretty. So I've actually been liking that and am using it. I typically just put it on over my sunscreen here and there. I don't usually put it to my entire face because I think it looks a little odd that way. It's just so glowy that you kind of look like something out of Under the Sea. So I just use it kind of like you might use makeup, if you will, over sunscreen. But yeah, I like it, and it does have iron oxides in it, which will protect against those pro-pigmenting wavelengths of visible light. I'm also using, oh, I mentioned earlier about using a baby sunscreen around your eyes. I bought this on the Herb. It's Mustela. Mustela is like this bougie, hoity-toity baby skincare line that's like insanely expensive. I saw they started carrying Mustela on the Herb. I wanted to try out their baby sunscreen. This is not any more miraculous than any other zinc oxide baby sunscreen out there. Like the Walgreens one that I have shown in a lot of my Instagram photos and have shared with you guys here on YouTube a fair amount. That is definitely comparable, if not better than this, and a lot less expensive. But this particular product is good. Like, I don't have anything bad to say about it. It doesn't pill or ball. It's fragrance free, heavy cast though. So, you know, like you can typically expect that with a zinc oxide sunscreen. But what I've been liking about this is I've been putting it around my eyes before I go for a run, if I'm going on a run outside, because it does not run or anything. It stays in place and it doesn't burn or sting around my eyes. I will say this though, it's sticky. Like, I can't imagine putting this on your body and being comfortable. And it's sticky to the point that it's definitely one of those that if you put it all over your face and go out when it's hot like it is here and humid, you are going to feel miserable because the sweat is not going to evaporate through this. But I have been liking it around my eyes, as I said. So yeah, there's that. If you guys were ever curious about Mustela baby sunscreen, I have been using that. And I've also been using, I reviewed this for you guys earlier, like a few weeks ago, the Image Skincare Prevention. I'm almost certain this has fragrance in it, even though it's not listed on the ingredient list. It smells like chewing gum. And a lot of you guys commented that you've used this and you find that to be the case too. But it seems to be really popular. Like, a lot of people really love this, and to me, I'm like, okay, whatevs. I don't find that it's any, I actually prefer personally the Dermatology tinted SPF. I think, you know, it's kind of similar as far as what it's offering for the UV protection. It's a combination sunscreen, meaning it's got zinc and some chemical filters. But to me, the Dermatology one, it just goes on the skin better. This one kind of goes on a little streaky, takes a lot more time to, it requires more patience and application, takes more time to dry, and is a lot more kind of sticky and heavy as opposed to the Dermatology one. So I'm using it because, you know, like I don't like to let things go to waste, but yeah. Oh, I don't have it here. It's actually in my bedroom because I like to put it on my legs when I go on my treadmill because I open my windows. And so I like to touch up my sunscreen on my legs before I run on my treadmill with the windows open. Anyways, it's the Eucerin Everyday SPF 30 Moisturizer. What I like about it is it's a great body moisturizer for summertime when we're wearing shorts, but on days that you're mostly inside. Why do I say that? Well, if you're gonna go outside and be like out at a barbecue or out by the pool all day or hiking or whatever, if you're doing some outdoor activity, you need to go SPF 50 or higher. And you also need to rely on things like sun protective clothing. But, you know, to protect you from the sun that comes through the window and just kind of every day scooting in and out to the car and whatnot, this is a great one. SPF 30 is not bad. Fragrance free, and as a moisturizer, it's great. And it doesn't leave a film behind. It absorbs very quickly. Yeah, can't shout out the Eucerin one enough. And speaking of the Eucerin, the hand cream, you guys, I talked about this in my hand cream video. I talked about this in my video on anti-aging for your hand. I mean, if you are gonna come to me asking anything to do with anti-aging, it needs to be after you have dialed down sun protection. Otherwise, I have nothing to say to you. I know that sounds extreme, but like 90% of skin aging has to do with UV. So like dial that in. But yeah, so obviously sun protection is gonna be a big part of any video that I do that talks about anti-aging, or really any video I do. So that being said, this has been great because with all the hand washing that we're doing, you end up washing off the sunscreen and your hands get dry. So this serves a dual function, sun protection, and it moisturizes the hands. I've really been loving this. You can get it on the herb, by the way. And then you guys, I sound like some 90s sitcom character. You guys, is that Urkel? I can't remember. Anyways, yeah, the Coppertone Defend and Care. I purchased this at Walmart and I do not regret that $6 impulse. This is fantastic. It's a chemical sunscreen. Remember how I talked about in my video on tips for like makeup wearers who are trying to deal with protecting their skin from the sun, and how I said start your day with a really high SPF sunscreen? I would recommend this or this. SPF 50 at least, so this gets you that goal. And both of these are the type of sunscreen that you can apply. They're gonna absorb very quickly onto the skin. They're gonna be a nice base for cosmetics. So yeah, I've been liking both of these, long story short. So yeah, that's everything I've been into as far as the war on matrix metalloproteinase activation and UV signature mutations. Comment below though on what filters and formulations you've been loving. I always love hearing from you guys, and I always end up learning about new products that I had no clue existed from your commentary. So I hope you all enjoyed this vid. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.